Our next speaker, an open-minded IBDP ear-to learner, an encyclopedia personified with a magnifying glass in one hand and a trowel in the other. Only through his distinctive research, he makes us travel through time and explore the unknown. In addition, he's an avid cyclist and is always ready for the adventure life has to offer. Please welcome on stage Atharva Aryan.
Thank you. So good evening. I was maybe 5. Yeah. I was 5 years old when a TV show by the name of Dinosaur Train swept me off my legs and took me on a journey full of imagination. The show actually featured a pteranodon family, and they had adopted a T-Rex, little baby T-Rex. It was cute. And then they take this train and go on a vacation throughout the vast Mesozoic era in which the dinosaurs lived. And each stop which the train stopped at, they would go out and they would explore the different kinds of life which was present in these different time periods. And I think at the time I did not understand it very well, but that at that point it was maybe just entertainment for me. But later in my life I realized that that entertainment had lit a little spark of curiosity, which would one day turn into a giant wildfire in my mind. And it would probably that wildfire would act as a beacon which would lead me to explore and be curious about ancient worlds, fossils, and the stories they hold and they could tell. And yeah, roars to revelations, a Mesozoic tale of lessons for me. And a few years later, actually, when I would understand what paleontology is, I stumbled across the tale of the first dinosaur ever uncovered by humanity. And I think you would also think that the first dinosaur, I mean, that sounds so cool. It would just go take like a roar and a stomp and would just enter into history with this grandeur and with valor. Not really. It was just excavated from an quarry in Stonesfield in Oxfordshire, and these were the original bones, as you can see. And it was just lying on a shelf in the University of Oxford, just like gathering dust, being a little seasoned with dust, until a man named William Buckland. He was just a geologist, and not just a geologist, my bad. He was the head geologist, I think, at the time in the University of Oxford. He took an interest in these bones. He saw what others did not. An animal which was long extinct, an animal, not just an animal, and predator which ruled this planet, and long in the past that too. With the help of his colleagues, he was able to deduce that these bones belong to an ancient carnivorous reptilian organism known as Megalosaurus. And that's how the first dinosaur was ever discovered by humanity, was found, just because a man became curious. Otherwise, who knows, this may have been lying on the shelf maybe till the 1900s. Yeah, and a key lesson, I mean, let me just show you what Mr. Buckland thought of it. This was his original concept, a lizard-like organism. It induced a sort of fear into the people at that time, because you have to see, the people during the 1800s lived that there was no world before the flood. And here we have a world before the flood, and a world way more terrifying than the one we lived in. But besides that, and this is what Megalosaurus is thought of as today. But what Megalosaurus taught me is that we should not let curiosity be held somewhere. We should go out there, we should discover, we should be active. We should find the things which may be peculiar, because who knows, that could lead to some of the most, what do you say, how do you say it? That could lead to some of the most beautiful and unexpected things being discovered or found by you. I mean, and curiosity is just a sculptor. It could be seen as similar to a fossil hunter, who would just chip away at rocks and discover the fossils beneath, and maybe unearth some new ideas. See what I did there? Unearthed, a fossil pun, just like unearthing a fossil. Now, speaking of unearthing in any context, one of the most famous animals to have been digged up from the earth is a dinosaur, obviously, and this here is its skull, Tyrannosaurus rex. Its name means tyrant lizard, king of the tyrant lizards. I mean, the name itself has glamour and famous written all over it. But is that all to this mythical animal who lived millions of years ago? Not really. Tyrannosaurus rex stands as a metaphor, not just a metaphor, rather a symbol to adaptability. And it did this in various ways. Uh, one of the few, okay, to understand why Tyrannosaurus was such a symbol to adaptability and why I would go on to praise it a little bit more is just think of yourself 66 million years ago. You're in a forest. This forest is there's barely any buildings or anything which we'd see like today. There would be a random wall somewhere blocking it off. Just a clean forest. The canopy is so thick that little light comes down. You have luscious green plants and you have vast rivers. But now you are the T-Rex here, and you're just exploring, and your prey options are, as an apex predator. One is a Edmontosaurus. It's just as big as T-Rex, and you could think of it like a really large cow, but dinosaur or reptilian. Another is Triceratops. Now this thing's interesting. It has a frill, and it's like just a little head cover, and it has two sharp horns which protrude outside. One stab, just one stab from one of these horns could end a T-Rex's life. And then I can only describe the next animal as a living tank. It had bony armor and a club tail which could liquefy bone quite literally. One hit, something's gone forever. You have no chance of survival after that. And I think these are the features which led to T-Rex becoming such an adaptable animal and what let it persevere and survive in its environment. And contrary to popular belief, it wasn't as mindless as an thing we'd like to think. It's okay, it's prehistoric, it's antediluvian, but is it mindless? No. Let me explain why. So, actually, you know what? That diagram's better. This same skull, but just enlarged. As we can see, this little skull of its. Let's just take a look at its jaw rather than any other feature. If you can see down here, it has a maximum opening of that, but that's not the key feature. It's mainly what muscle would have been present instead of the bone. It had a jaw which was capable of slamming shut so hard that its teeth had to literally change shape to match it. And secondly, it also had really, really sharp senses, such as a really strong eyesight, a really strong sense of smell. I mean, T-Rex, if I were to give T-Rex a handkerchief from one of the people in one of this room, any person in this room rather, it could pinpoint who it exactly belonged to. Now, and yeah, its feet also had some padding. Paleontologists rather, were able to deduce this by the fossilized tissue remains or maybe a scan or CT scan which revealed where the organs could have been positioned. Regardless, but these adaptations allowed T-Rex to thrive in its environment where one mistake could lead to a fatal end. And not only that, its perseverance as an apex predator, rather the only apex predator at its time, led it to being one of the most widespread and one of the most well-known animals we've ever had. And T-Rex has always been held a special place in my heart, and it has imparted this little spark of, I think, knowledge into me that you must always adapt, you must always, in order to overcome any problem, be it your fancy jaws, be it a fancy name, or just have powerful eyes, maybe a sense of smell so precise that you can just find out anything. Always adapt and you can overcome any issue, maybe even become a tyrannosaur in the modern day. And I think that's quite literally the difference between adaptability, quite literally the difference between being able to achieve your dreams or being stuck under a rock. Now, oh yeah, I forgot to show you. This is the tooth. As you can see, it is serrated, it is conical, surprisingly, and it is long, but at the bottom, there's this rounded tip, which allowed it to absorb the force. But I digress from the point. Yeah, this is a live remodeling of a T-Rex. Yep. Speaking about rocks now, a giant rock 66 million years ago killed the dinosaurs. It was just okay, I phrased that wrong. A giant rock floating through space 66 million years ago was the end for the dinosaurs as we know now, or as we like to believe. But was it really the end? Did dinosaurs just suddenly vanish? 165 million years of evolution, or dinosaur evolution, just vanish because a space rock was able to make its way to Earth and wipe them out? No, that's not the case. Okay, so around 150 million years ago, paleontologists found a fossil of an animal called as Archaeopteryx. Now, Archaeopteryx is quite interesting. It was 150 million years ago. It is one of the few interesting things which helps us deduce that dinosaurs didn't really go away. As you can see, it has these vibrant feathers. It would have had vibrant feathers, most likely. And these feathers, but not only that, but if you can look at its arms, you can see they look very much like, say, a modern day bird's, but slightly less advanced, which would have actually allowed it to have powered flight. And I mean, it was late. For a long time, it wasn't accepted. But Archaeopteryx is accepted to be the predecessor to birds. Rather, I think it's not even a true bird. It's more of a dino bird. It's a dinosaur and a bird. But it proves that dinosaurs never actually did go extinct truly. They have been alive, and they have adapted, and they have changed. So, what Archaeopteryx has taught me actually more so, and helped me become a better learner, is that change is something which you cannot fight. I mean, take a look at the example of the dinosaurs as well. Uh, yeah, this is the Archaeopteryx and the bird thing. It's with the duck, I think. Yeah. And change is something you cannot fight. Just think of it, 165 million years of evolution and of domination and hegemony over the planet. Yet something just like a space rock which had a chance of hitting or missing just makes you extinct. So Archaeopteryx stands as a testament to not only their perseverance, but the evolution of the dinosaurs as well. And next time when you look out of a window, you see a sparrow, you see a pigeon, an eagle soaring in the sky. And you know what? Even our own national bird, the peacock, it is a legacy of the dinosaurs, which is not allowed rather, which has just seeped into our own world, giving us the message that change is inevitable. And to survive, one must endure and one must transform in order to find a new place in the world. And let's get a little philosophical. Dinosaurs didn't just go away, they just exchanged their hegemony of the land to soar wide in the skies. And yeah, that's what dinosaurs have taught me. And there are certainly a lot more lessons to be learned from them. I mean, oh, yeah, you know what? There's certainly a lot more you can learn from dinosaurs, and not just dinosaurs actually, any fossil. Each one of them tells a tale which is as old as time, and that's what drives people to study paleontology, and that's what drives people to learn about history. And this is the sort of stuff which digs up curiosity and digs up interest. Okay, I'm getting a little worked out. I'm sorry for that. Uh, yeah, I get too excited with the dinosaurs. All right, I think the dinosaurs, to me at least in this short talk I've said, dinosaurs have gone from unraveling to me about how curiosity can help you to discover the most unexpected things, and going across to saying that you must adapt to overcome, and finally, do not resist change. And there's a certain lot more lessons I've learned, but wait a minute. Oh yeah, we are reaching the time limit. I can't share them, unfortunately, today. But I would like to end my talk by just quoting a dinosaur hunter, Roy Chapman Andrews. Never let practical considerations ruin your youthful dreams. Thank you. Oh, wait.
We express our sincere gratitude to Atharva Aryan for his prehistoric journey through curiosity. Now I would like to invite the production head Nidhi Arya and co-head Tanish Dhamale to felicitate Atharva.